Welcome back to this special Star Sports Greyhound Derby preview. We're going to be taking a look now at the leading Irish challengers coming over for this year's Greyhound Derby, and Ian Fortune has come over to give us the lowdown. But first of all, Martin, run us through the betting. What Irish Greyhounds are challenging at the top of the betting?
So it's generally, obviously at the moment, none of the dogs that are going to come over, so it's most of the dogs at Grand Holland. So Clonbrine Prince is the shortest Irish price dog at the moment, he's 18 to 1. And then we've got 25 to 1 about Lynx and Blinder. The same with Slippy Keen, I've got to say it correctly. I've got told I saying it incorrectly in the draw last year. Slippy Keen, 25, 33 about Clone Blaze and JT Taylor. Also had Jupy's Bike Club. I know live before we joined Patrick Ganson, so from Pat Buckley, who's also a 30.
He's now English, so we're claiming
he's now English, we've got to claim one back again. We've got all his claims here for these.
We're going to
these
take
dogs.
what we can
We're
get.
taking them all back. Yeah, we've got Magical Bell claim from Kevin there. Also claim Jupy's Bike. So they're the front price of the Irish runners.
So Ian, is it all about the Graham Holland kennel?
No, but the problem is the water is a bit muddy at the moment. We don't know exactly what's coming over from elsewhere, but certainly Graham Holland is the man who will have the strongest hand of any trainer in the Derby, not just Irish. There's no question. He's got 5 or 6 dogs that are capable of winning a Derby. That's in Ireland or England, and you know that's
Give us the names then. Who do you think will win the Derby?
Well, Lofty started there with Clonbrine Prince. He's their favourite. He's the dog probably with the right profile and sense, where he's coming to the right age. He has outstanding pace. Last year he was coming to himself all the time, a bit like Magical Bale. He's probably matured into a proper dog. He won the Gain 600, which was formerly known as the Guinness 600 in Shelburne Park. He's not a 600-yard greyhound, he's a real 550-yard greyhound, but the long run to the corner in Nottingham will be right up his street. The 500 metres won't be a problem to him. He has pace everywhere. He's a beautiful mover. Then you have Slippy Keen, who is a complete greyhound also. He's a dog that sort of first or second run this year in Shelburne Park after a layoff, came back 29.39, and it just looked like he'd never been away. He's a greyhound that, if things click for him in Nottingham, and he trialled very well in his first look around, he's capable of making any dog in the world run. Lynx and Blinder is another. He probably doesn't have quite the same early as the other two, but he has a massive engine. He has this thing where he sort of swings his back legs off the first bend. I wouldn't like to be on his immediate outside going into a corner. Although he is an inside seed, he just does that little manoeuvre in the corner. He's a dog that could go certainly a few rounds, and don't be surprised if he got to a Derby final, made it to the final, or won it. Clona Blaze, I say Clona generally, but Clona, I think the owners are based in Clonakilty, so I think it's Clona. He won the Easter Cup, of course, a professional dog, was probably a few yards behind the best last year. For most of the year, seemed to come into his own at the back end of the year, and then this year in the Easter Cup was an absolute model of consistency. Like the splits he did in Shelburne Park, did 330s, which would be equivalent of a 490 probably in Nottingham. Nothing could really live with him to the corner. Now, he didn't run well the other night in the trial stake, missed the kick, ran a bit hairy, looked like he was a bit lost in the place. But if he gets his trapping right, he's a dog that, because there won't be that many wide seats, he'll generally have his draw out in 6 or 5. He can rock it to the corner, and as we've seen in the trial stakes, any trouble in behind him, he could certainly find himself 5-6 clear at the back straight. I'd like to put the run behind him from the trial stake if he gets his trapping right through the stake. If he gets it right one night, it'll happen every night. He's that type of dog. And then you can even dig deeper in the Holland Kennel. Wolf, a dog that has astounding pace at the third bend, a little inconsistent at traps, but when he gets racing, he flies to the corner, he motors down the back. He was as fast as any dog in Ireland last year down the back straight as a raw puppy. This year he's been outstanding. I gave him as my greyhound to follow on the Greyhound Star website this year, and I've been I look like a genius. Like, it was obvious to most people that he was going to be a dog to follow, but my only worry with him is the long run home. Probably be stretched a little bit, but if he got to the front, he'd freewheel home. And then whatever else he brings, like Clonbrine Swift is a greyhound, very likely raced. I know the world of him. He got hurt as a youngster, came back. He's a bit of age inside, but he's still a young greyhound. He has a massive engine. He ran very well in his trial stake the other night. I could just keep going. He just has a team of dogs like you wouldn't believe.
It isn't just about Holland, though. We will touch on some of the other kennels. What have you seen from Ireland that you think is going to present the biggest challenge? Is it a Holland dog?
It was, yeah. So I was there for the trials the other night and saw the Slippy Keen dog trial, and I thought he was very impressive. Massive engine, obviously his Irish card is top class, but I just thought he ran the track really well. Would improve for the look also, but it just seemed a track that was made for him, and down the back he really took off, and he looks a proper dog for me.
Yeah, there will be prices for which trainer will win the Greyhound Derby, and I suspect Graham Holland will be favourite. But I'm going to throw some other trainers' names and dogs at you, starting with Pat Buckley, who's in tremendous form at the moment, just won the Scottish Derby with Braveheart Bobby, who will come over for the English Derby. He's also got Droopy's Davy and Burgess Bucks, who he likes very much. Yeah,
Burgess Bucks is a very young greyhound. Should have won the Juvenile Classic at Tralee, got lost off the last bend. Questions of whether the hair was a bit far in front or whatnot. It was a strange sort of a display. Actually took a tumble, I think, in the run in. He was a bit unlucky. He's a very, very fast greyhound. He's still a bit green, but no question is the engine. Droopy's Davy was a dog that last year Toaster just didn't suit him at all. He didn't handle the place at all. Made for the trip, will appreciate the long run to the corner, flies down the back, and will stay a wide again. It's a case of whether a whites he can win the Derby. If they can, he's there with a big chance. And the third runner you mentioned there was, of course, the Scottish Derby winner, Braveheart Bobby. He won the Kingdom Derby last year for the owners. He's since moved to Pat. After Pat tried to buy him a few times, the owner said, just if you're desperate to have the dog, have him. We'll still own him, but you can have him. He had his tonsils out not long before the Scottish Derby, improved through the stake. And the dog you saw in the Scottish Derby final is not the finished article. There's better to come from him. He ran very well in the Easter Cup, but he's a dog that will really be suited by Nottingham as well. As I keep saying, Nottingham is going to suit our greyhounds, I think. They're all real 550-yard dogs in Shelbourne Park in Ireland, which should really suit them down to the ground, the 500 metres in Nottingham.
Some of these trainers are yet to trial. Pat Buckley coming over Thursday with his team, Paul Hennessy on Saturday. We can expect to see some of these prices still really shorten then, Martin.
Exactly, yeah. He's not sure. Obviously, Liam Dowling also coming over with the team. He's bringing dogs over the trial. I think he's staying with Peter Harnden. So, he's got an amazing team over there at the moment. The decent young litter as well. All the Ballymac Razzle litter. Obviously, Ballymac Taz, who is a Flying Man Limerick and a Kirby. So there's so many fast dogs. We may touch on the Graham Holland ones at the moment, as you say, at the top of the market. There's so much more to come around there, and dogs, as Ian said, Nottingham looks like it's going to suit. It's a bit more far more like Shelbourne than what Toaster was. A lot of dogs got lost around Toaster. We saw dogs like Sonic and Droopy's Davy that were just going towards Milton Keynes when they were running around Toaster. They hated the place, but they'll probably find Nottingham far more to their standards. And again, as Ian said, a lot of 600-yard dogs over that trip suiting them well. Strong running dogs that are going to sort of keep qualifying those dogs, and they're going to find the 6 rounds and also the week extra now in between, not like the 3 runs in a week we had before. And that's seems to be gauged towards the Irish now. There's so much bullishness coming from the Irish.
We've only mentioned the 2 trainers really. Like Liam Dowling has an absolute massive team in terms of strength and power and potential, and I think that's the key with his dogs coming over is potential. Like whatever Liam brings, have to show respect. He's got 3 or 4 serious greyhounds there. I don't think Ballymac Taz will come because she's currently involved in the Oaks at Shelbourne Park, and it'll take a bomb to knock her out, but I would have loved to have seen her come over because she's been made for Nottingham. Yeah, there are still more Irish dogs to mention, which we will come to in a little bit later on when we talk about some of the Irish outsiders, but forget all that, Kevin, we've got this in hand, haven't we?
I hope so, yeah.
We're in control.
We can do it again.
We're good. Join us again when we will be discussing the English and Irish outsiders for the Star Sports Greyhound Derby.